Hello, my true detective-solving friends. Saru Mansuki here in Adult Goodness, and today we're reviewing a game that's quite a mouthful. Master Detective Archives Operation Raincode, exclusively for the Switch system. This is the latest game brought to you by the mad team behind Danganronpa Spiked Chunsoft, involving a young amnesiac, detective in a city of perpetual rain. Can this detective adventure ignite the strokes of genius of master detectives? Or is this simply a case best left ever unopened? Let's find out. Oh, but before I start, I'll be simply calling this game Raincode, otherwise I'll be biting my tongue. And 2, this review will be the lightest possible for spoilers, with footage showing scenes only from 0 or latest 1. Yes, there's a 0 and 1. I'm also going to talk about what I like first before I get to the beef stuff. Anyway, let's get on with the video!
Raincode, it's the latest detective-style game of Spiked Chunsoft, the creators of Danganronpa, Monokuma! You play as Yuma Cocohead. No, that is his name. A boy who wakes up to no memory with only 2 things on hand. A piece of paper showing his name, and his mission to be a master detective. With a weird girl demon spirit thing who loves murder cases and trains Yuma to be an ace detective. For running on a train, you arrive in Kanai Ward, a sort of small city of perpetual rain, to find it under the thumb of the Peacekeepers. The Peacekeepers have the security and role with an iron fist, hating detectives such as you and your fellow detectives. You play on a chapter-by-chapter basis, solving the crime, usually murder, that Yuma decides to take on himself. You go around, search for clues, sometimes question witnesses to find the culprit, and how they did it. In terms of the story, it's fine. The individual chapters do well to differentiate themselves with a different murder and location, sometimes locations. Each chapter does well, keeping you guessing on how it's caused to some good clever solutions. Save for one which, I think minus the intro ending, the case was kind of pointless. And also without spoiling, the final chapters got really good, with some nice twists, but everything still contained and explained thanks to the course of the story. The characters though, I'm a little bit mixed on. Minus Yuma and Shinigami, the girl's demon spirit I mentioned before, and 2 others, everyone has very one-note extreme personalities. The trait you see is all pretty much you see, which almost makes them not characters. For example, your colleagues, one's all cool and all about money, another's like a full ditz, the other is a weird, desperate person, politely, and the 4th is defeatist and just wants to die. And that's it, that's their entire character. There's no depth to them, your colleagues, other people you meet. And for Yuma and Shinigami, because they're surrounded by extreme personas, they don't really stand out amongst everyone else. Well, until Shinigami goes to her human-style form, which is fairly notable, with jokes about her 2 focal points, and it's very off-putting. Though I will say throughout the story, the voice acting is pretty well done, with every story beat voiced by good actors. And to be fair, I think the actors did the best of what they had anyway. Now, the whole bit about the gameplay is going to be a little bit short or not that complex. It's a detective game. You go around, wonder for clues, go to the culprit, call them guilty or innocent, there you go. Saying that though, the crime solving is the unique gimmick of the whole game. Shinigami is a death god, as she says, able to make a sort of mystery labyrinth, a sort of new dimension that is themed around the crime in terms of clues or solutions you're investigating or need answers to. Kinda like the palaces from Persona 5 that are made of dark desires of a corrupt person. Raincode presents a myriad of solutions to solve the mystery, be it recreating the murders present or the escape routes, like picking a door that has the right answer. And then you've got other things such as fighting off the interpretation of the person blocking with a sort of rhythm dodging battle, dodging the statements and reflecting fake ones of counter arguments. Sometimes you're in a minecart, picking lanes based on the answers, you're hopscotching over the bottomless pit based on answers, playing pop-up pirate to spell out the word, riding on the shoulder of the giantess Shinigami to smash down mental walls. Yeah, it's kind of bonkers. The variety and rather insane aspect to it, I think, is Raincode's strongest point, because like its predecessor Danganronpa, that was all about the insane. You are always solving the riddle of the murders, and as I mentioned before, some of the solutions are bloody damn clever. And the different methods of getting these answers help breathe some originality into this detective genre. It was random, but worked in the context and rules of the world they're in. My issues of the whole gameplay is the simplicity of it. The investigation is as basic as you can get. You just wander, click on a point, move on. And during the actual investigation part where you're solving the mystery, it's more multiple choice than problem solving. Even the dodging battle that can keep you on your toes, dodging the wrong statements, contradicting the correct ones, it's not that hard. Most times there are just 3 statements to be corrected, and there are only 2 clues you can use per one. So, be it the minecart, the hopscotch or anything, it's literally just 3 answers, pick one, move on. To compare in another detective game style like Phoenix Wright, where you have to find the wrong statements again, the game gives you a little hint, but you can literally use any clue you have on any statement you see, so you can't even brute force it as easily, and does require the player to think and act. The investigation does try to reward the player by giving them skill points. You earn XP from doing well or dodging statements well, but all leveling does is make the game easier. You can use skill points to remove statements that can't be contradicted or red herrings. Please note, I played the game in normal, so I can't say if you play it on hard or above if this is remedied. And the final note gameplay, the side quests, they're boring. Plain and simple. You talk to person A, they have a problem with person B, talk to person C who needs to go see person D, go back to A, that's it, done, move on. I'm not kidding. That is all the side quests. One thing I should mention as well is there is a little bit of a scavenger hunt in collectibles, which give you like past story events, but it's up to you if you want to do them. You're given like very vague clues and they're hidden in like one chapter or something. I never went for them. To how the game plays, it feels weirdly unoptimized. Generally speaking, the game looks and sounds fine. Characters are very detailed, unique designs, voice actors pretty decent, the writing is a little bit iffy, but does its job, and the very locales you visit are all very distinct, but oddly everything else out of the story feels second fiddle. During cutscenes and scripted gameplay scenes, the game's fine, but otherwise this Switch exclusive struggles. Yuma moves really slow, the frame rate staggers quite regularly, even when you're just running down a hallway. And while the city is interesting and detailed with varied locales, there's very little to actually explore or need to besides the hidden collectibles I mentioned before. It's also clear this game was dubbed with the JP voice acting in mind, so with the English voice on top of it, it just looks off-timed. Especially during the more detailed motion capture scenes. Somewhat mind, I just found it a bit jarring personally. Now before I wrap up, I want to go over 3 personal issues I have with the game. Issues other people might not, but I want to talk about it. First is how Raincode treats its characters. Raincode often, and will, introduce a character who are even given full like comic book intros, and they all have a unique looking character, but he then gives them zero chance to develop and removes them from the stage almost just as quick. As for the characters who do stick, your colleagues and team, since they never truly grow and develop, I just did not get attached to them. They needed a little more depth to them, honestly. The only time I felt your teammates worked is when they spoke to Shinigami, a nutty personality with a straight one, as it was amusing to hear the 2 personas bounce off one another. The second gripe I have is the feeling of accomplishment when you finish a case is kind of lacking. I feel really nothing changed to the world or the people around you when you finish the case. If anything, the story moved on because everyone's just confused since only the culprit's affected, very abruptly, of which I won't mention further. And the last issue I have with the whole thing is Raincode's unique character trait in Fortes. A unique power as a master detective as are just not really utilised here. Fortes in this world are a single ability exclusive to one detective for investigations. Like there's one forte where a person can disguise themselves or others perfectly in body and voice. Or another forte where you can examine a crime at the precise moment it was discovered. It kind of reminded me of quirks from My Hero Academia, which sounded cool, but fortes, despite their uniqueness and inclusion, have no bearing on the plot. The only bearing to really see story use is Yuma's, who can borrow other fortes of his colleagues, but it kind of just felt like the fortes were there for the sake of saying, we have something different. Only one I felt actually made investigation interesting, the others were just kind of there or not really utilised enough. Overall, Raincode is a very original experience. There's no other game out there, but its simplicity in game and story kind of hurts it from really standing out. Investigation is simple, characters so one note they are stereotypes, leaving the actual main duo kind of lacking in comparison. Gameplay, while varied and interesting, isn't too hard, at least at the difficulty I played it anyway. It's not a bad game by any means. Perhaps if the game took more care in character growth, trimmed out a bit of pointless fluff like its exploration, the side quests in particular, and fixed performance issues outside of cutscenes, it could have been much better. Saying that, the game does really nothing wrong. Original gameplay, some creative solutions, bar one, and a very good ending route is definitely worth one playthrough. I present this game a 6 out of 10. So, there we go. I was a little torn on score, 6 or 7, but yeah, I decided on a 6. Perhaps if it just had better characters akin to Danganronpa and some better detective gameplay, I would have moved it up, but what can you do?
So with that, this review comes to a close. I was a bit mixed in how I feel about it really. All the extreme personalities are fine. I mean, I like Danganronpa, for example, but they did just one note. Yes, their personalities are extreme, but that was their strongest trait. They still got nervous, they still developed, they still grew, and unlike Persona, which is only the people there got affected, you have a bit more left out. I just feel like if it had a little bit more added, it could have been a higher score, but this is just my opinion. It's up to you how you view it. Well then, let's see. Are you going to buy the game? Give it a go? I do recommend at least one playthrough. That I will absolutely say before I end. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe. You are subscribing, aren't you? You better be. You watched it to the end, so you better be. Otherwise, I'll be coming for you. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day. See you next time. And don't forget to follow me on other platforms such as Twitter and Twitch or in my links below. And have a good day. Bye.